Welcome to A Song of Ice and Fire Symposium. My name is Nav.
And I'm Harmat.
And this is A Game of Thrones, Chapter 13, Tyrion. In this chapter, dragons and grumpkins and snarks. Welcome to the podcast, everyone. How are you, Harmat?
I'm good. I'm very
I don't really care.
lively today.
I'm just kidding,
Okay,
just kidding.
moving on.
We have been sillying it up in here with... Yeah, if a random, really terrible accent slips through, it's because we have been talking in a really bad accent for the last half hour, so
Yes.
forgive us.
Yes.
So, what did you think of the chapter?
Not gonna lie, I was bored the entire time. There were some parts where it was like, I was like, oh, okay, this is heartfelt, I should be paying attention, but most of it, I was like, this is so boring. We could be, like, off fighting battle, and we're
At
not.
least it was short. It was like
That's true.
6 or 7 pages or something.
Yes.
Okay.
But I realized that because of like the weather conditions in Winterfell and the Starks being one of our like main families, we're probably gonna get a lot of just traveling chapters because they have so much distance to go anywhere. So I feel like within the series, there's just gonna be so many just traveling.
Yes, there will be. So just prepare yourself, okay?
All right.
So do you want to do a little summary for us? I'll only give you 30 seconds this time because in the whole
Literally
chapter,
nothing happens.
one thing happens. Maybe one thing.
I think 0 things happen, so I don't know.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, so, where they're traveling to the wall, and they're, like, kind of like, okay, let's, like, go set up camp or whatever, and, Tyrion's like, well, I can't really help with that, so let me go read my little book, read his book that he borrowed from the Stark's library. Anyway, so he's reading his book, and Jon's like, oh yeah, why do you read? And then he pretty much explains to him that he's like, you know what, my mind is my mind is my weapon, I need to be able to exercise that weapon, and that's the moral of the story.
Okay, that was 28 seconds and alright, I guess.
Oh, I didn't even say Ghost getting mad and then
you didn't. Okay, so
I got lost.
Alright, you get a second chance in going through the chapter.
Okay,
Start
cool.
at the beginning.
So
it's not time though, so
okay, right, of course. Okay, so we start the chapter and we find out that Tyrion, Benjen, Jon are on their way, and a couple of newcomers, which we'll get to. They're on their way to the wall. Haven't gotten there yet. It's quite a tread. And so they had left the same day as the King's party left for the north, and it's been
the King's party left for the south. They left for the north.
My bad. Left for the south. So that's interesting, and then, so pretty much, they're going along, it's getting colder, there's less people, there's more forest, and Tyrion's like, wow, this is not what I expected, this is interesting. And then they meet up with, Yoren, which is a new character, meet up with him.
He's one of the Night's Watchmen as well.
Yes. And there's, like, in his party, there's, like, people who, like, raped people, and they're, like, instead of being, like, punished, they're like, okay, we'll just go. So they're on the Night's Watch.
They would have been castrated, but they chose to go to the wall instead. And Jon's not impressed with them.
At this point, Jon's kind of getting this, like, he's like, it's not
the honorable placement I thought it was. Because he looks at his, like, uncle in, like, you know, expensive furs and leathers and, like, all tall and Stark-like, and he thinks, oh, that's what the Night's Watch is like, but instead
it's not. It's really not, which is kind of sad, but you know. Yeah. And then so we find out that Benjen also does not like the Lannisters. He shares that sentiment with the better half of us, and so when they were traveling, Benjen was like, the better
half of us? What do you mean by the better half of us?
Well, the people in the story who don't like the Lannisters are the ones I like. So they're the better half of the story. The ones that don't like the Lannisters are the Lannisters, pretty much.
Okay, all right. Except Tyrion, you seemed to like him last time.
Yes, I do like him, but I don't. In my mind, he's not Tyrion Lannister, but Jaime is Jaime Lannister. So.
Yeah, he pushed a kid out a window. He's kind of terrible.
Yes. Anyway.
But yeah, so tell me, how does that make you feel about Jaime Lannister?
Him pushing a kid out of the window?
Yeah.
See, the thing is, he's what's it called? What's the word? When you're, he's like emotionless kind of sometimes, because his, oh my god, Hermit, articulate. Okay, so, obviously that makes me not like him, but I was thinking about it and I was like, okay, this is the man who was like, I don't know, just from the story, it seemed, from the previous narration, it felt like that, like when Tyrion was like, oh, he's the only one who would ever, like, talk to me or whatever, it felt like, I don't know, it felt like that was more just, like, it wasn't out of love. So I just feel like he just doesn't care. And even when they're talking about, like, powers, like when him and Cersei are talking about, like, power stuff, he's like, oh, I don't really want to do that. Like, I feel like he just doesn't care about things. I think he's just desensitized to a lot of things.
Okay, so in summary, he doesn't care.
In summary, he doesn't care. And
so does that make you like him more?
No,
or
it doesn't.
Hate him
no,
more?
I don't like him. I don't like him.
But it makes... So it doesn't make you dislike him more either? It just whatever?
No, it makes me dislike him more than I disliked him when we first met him, you know?
Oh, okay.
Like, because, you know, he pushed a kid out a window.
Yeah,
so I'm like,
but the fact that he doesn't care. Although, when he was pushing Bran out a window, he did say, the things I do for love. So...
Yes. So, I guess, yeah, but I feel like, yeah, that's fair. That's true.
Okay. Anyway,
well,
back
then that
to
just makes
the
me not like him anymore. Anyway,
likable
weird,
Lannister.
weird little, you know.
Side note.
Anyway, so Benjen offers Tyrion his fur, and he's expecting him to decline, because, you know, that's what you do when you're trying to be polite.
I'm gonna totally mess with him. But Tyrion's like, yeah, I'll gladly take it, and he's warm for the rest of the ride, whereas, you know, Benjen's probably cold now.
Yeah.
And
so, like,
Tyrion
which made
says,
me happy that he was breaking all those, like, little polite gestures. I'm like, bruh, if you don't want me to take it, don't offer it.
Yeah, because he says, the Lannisters never declined, graciously or otherwise. The Lannisters took what was offered, so...
Graciously or otherwise. That's the interesting part.
So if somebody's
graciously, I agree with the Lannisters. Like, if someone literally offers you something and you still have to decline it, like, I'm glad that they've escaped that social construct.
Okay.
But other than that, I'm like, Lannisters, maybe.
But if somebody's like, here's a piece of shit, I'm gonna throw it at you. It seems like they'll accept that as well, which, I don't know. Interesting.
That's interesting.
Because it says never declined. It doesn't say never declined a good thing. It just says never declined anything.
That's actually kind of funny. I didn't think about that. That's interesting. Maybe we should go ask Tyrion.
Anyway, so they're on their 18th night of this journey.
Is interesting.
Oh my god. This is like, Winterfell is the closest to the wall compared to the rest of the realm. And they're still 18 days away and nowhere close to the wall. So
yeah, that's interesting.
Wow. That's a tough journey. I would not want to take it. But yeah. So they're setting up camp and Tyrion's like, you know, I can't really help, so I'm gonna get myself out of the way, like you said. And he grabs his book and finds a little spot under a tree and starts reading. Turns out he's borrowed a few rare books from Winterfell.
About dragons!
Yeah, well, this specific one is about dragons. Because
he's like and then he kind of goes from there and he kind of starts talking about, he's like, yeah, like, I'm obsessed with dragons. Yeah,
he has a very unique, well, I don't know if it's unique, but he has an interesting fascination with dragons.
Which is kind of funny, because dragons are the emblem of, the Targaryens, and like,
yeah.
And his entire family is like, I guess Robert too, like then that's his family, because Robert's now kind of his family, but anyway, so his entire family's like, despises the Targaryens, and he even mentions that he's like, yeah, it's funny, because my dad was his,
hand of the king.
Yeah, the hand of the king.
For 20 years.
Yeah, he was the hand
of the king. So
what
happened there?
That's interesting. Maybe it was like, because, obviously the Lannisters love power. They're doing all these things to, get power. But maybe, like, when he was the hand of that king, he wasn't like the chosen one, you know what I mean? He wasn't the one getting all the positions and stuff. So maybe they were like, oh, with Robert, we can be the Warden of the West, Warden of the East, like, we can work our way up. Like, maybe with that king, there was something preventing them from working their way up.
Okay. Well, anyway, so Tyrion's fascination with dragons, it's interesting because he explains it to Jon, he's like, when I was a kid, I used to want a dragon because even a dwarf riding atop a dragon is, I don't know, can't be mocked or...
Yeah, can't really look down on a dragon.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's what he said. And then he's like, oh, also I wanted to burn my dad and my sister.
I know, at this point I was like, oh my god, this man is so honest.
Well, maybe he's exaggerating.
Don't think so.
You don't. You think that if he had a dragon, he would actually burn his dad and his sister?
Okay, no. But I'm saying he thought about it. Definitely, I'm not saying he would actually do it. There's a big difference between like I wanted to like do bad things to people that I would literally never do. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you think about things and you're like, and you would never actually do it.
And he kind of accuses Jon of the same thing. He's like, I bet you've done the same thing with, the Starks who treated you so well, I'm sure.
Yeah. I was like, ooh.
Yeah, so he's talking about all the dragons and how when he first got to King's Landing, he went down to see the dragon skulls. And he talks about how, they were hundreds of years old and the newest ones were really small, but the oldest ones were really huge, like the ones that Aegon the Conqueror and his sisters used. So do you remember their names?
No.
Okay, so the biggest
I barely remember the character names now.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, so they're named after gods, apparently. So the biggest one was called Balerion, the Black Dread. I like that. I like it. Mm-hmm. The second biggest one was Meraxes, and then there was Vagar. I don't know. Anyway, those were the biggest three. And Balerion was so big that you can ride, or no, he said that you can take a mammoth through his mouth. Like, that's how huge it was. That was just his mouth. So try imagining, like, the rest of his body.
That's insane. Yeah, obviously those people would be the conquerors that literally have control of that.
Yeah, because, like, when I think of, like, dragon, or, like, when I think of what a dragon might be like, I think maybe, like, the size of, like, maybe 4 elephants or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But this is way bigger than that, because...
Yeah,
so it's insane how huge those dragons must have been.
Yeah.
But they're all dead now. So Tyrion's sad because he can't have one, obviously. Mm-hmm. Not that the Targaryens would have given him one if they had one, obviously. Yeah. But he's like thinking about their great power. He's talking about the Field of Fire, which was a battle between King Loren of the Rock, King Mern of the Reach, and the Targaryens when they first conquered the Seven Kingdoms. And how, like, it seemed like they were going to win the battle, but as soon as the dragon showed up, it was no match. And it was the first time that all 3 of the dragons had been working at once, so.
Yeah. And it's kind of funny. It confuses the Lannister Targaryen timeline is so, like, weird, like, just their entire, like, I was trying to, like, because you know how, like, they're literally all called Aegon, like, the guy that we conquered is Aegon Targaryen, and the other one's, like, Aegon the Conqueror, and you're like, wait. And I was trying to, like, keep track of all that, and I was like, dang, like, they have so many, like, the Lannister-Targaryen dynamic is weird. I feel like that's gonna amount to something, but I don't really know what. But I feel like that's definitely gonna be,
is it really unique to the Lannisters, this dynamic? Because basically Aegon the Conqueror and his sisters conquered all of the Seven Kingdoms, so that wasn't a unique thing that they only did with the Lannisters.
No, I'm just saying, like the Aegon conquered them, then they became the Hand, then they betrayed him
hundreds of years later.
I know, that's what I'm saying, like, spanning over the whole thing. It's like, if you just look at the whole thing, you're like, oh, that's interesting. History just keeps repeating itself. Nobody learns.
Right, okay. Anyway, so, there's just while he's talking, there's some random details. We learned that he's designed a special saddle for himself, because it's hard for him to ride in normal saddles, which is kind of cool. Mm-hmm. And Jon's, do you want to do the voice?
Jon's like, why do you read so much?
Okay, that wasn't as cool as I thought. But anyway, Jon's basically like, why do you read so much? And Tyrion is like, a mind needs a book as a sword needs a whetstone if it is to keep its edge. Which is obviously one of the most quoted lines as well. So, yeah, Tyrion's a mind person, or smart person. That's the word. Smart
mind
person. Mind person.
He works with his mind.
Yeah, he's got a quick wit, clearly, but he doesn't always use it for good, because he then turns it on Jon is kind of shitty. He's like, the Night's Watch is a midden heap for all the misfits of the realm. The good part is that there are no grumpkins or snarks, so it's scarcely dangerous work. The bad part is you freeze your balls off, but since you're not allowed to breed anyway, it doesn't really matter. And
I was like, oh my god, why is he projecting everything onto Jon? I was like, this is so sad. And then I was like, you know what?
It's just
and then
really
I was like,
mean.
maybe it's just his way of giving, well, it's definitely just his way of giving tough luck. I think also because, like,
tough luck? What's tough
luck?
Love.
Okay. Tough love. I think it's also his way of doing that, because later he's like, oh wait, that was a little too far.
Yeah, so he suddenly, because Jon is clearly upset and almost is crying, and he's like, oh shit, I should, and he goes to reach out and be like, hey dude, I'm sorry, but then Ghost
attacks him.
Exactly.
Which was interesting. It goes with our theory, all the way.
What theory?
Whenever he's in danger, or he's supposed to protect him whenever he's in danger. Well, that's not really our theory, that's what Jon said, and then we were like, oh, that's true.
Oh, and your prediction that one of the wolves is gonna attack somebody in the king's party kind of came true, even though it wasn't a big deal.
Yeah, it wasn't the queen, but kind of happened.
Yeah. So Ghost kind of pushes him to the ground and is standing over him, and Tyrion's like, hey dude, a little help please, and Jon's like, say it nicely. What's the magic word?
That was kind of funny.
And Tyrion is like, oh, would you please be so kind as to help me, or whatever. And Jon does, and Tyrion's like, why do you think he attacked me? And then Tyrion's like,
maybe he thought you were wrong.
Sorry. Tyrion says, why do you think he attacked me? And Jon's like, oh, he probably thought you were a grumpkin.
They're just so funny. I enjoyed that. They did too.
And Tyrion does too. So he's like, oh my god, I guess I do look kind of like a grumpkin, or whatever that means. And they laugh it off, and they're buds now, apparently.
Yeah.
They pack out their...
I think Tyrion's thing was also oh, wait, I lost my thought. Wait, hold up. Oh, because Tyrion's also the Grumpkin. Tyrion's also he's had to face so many harsh realities. Maybe in his mind, it's better for Jon to hate him than then still
not
like
be prepared for what's to come.
For what's actually going on.
John at this point does admit like, the Night's Watch is kind of sucky, isn't it?
Because the thing is like even at like, because obviously like Mr. Stark and all of them didn't want
Mr. Stark.
That's what I'm calling him, Mr. Stark. Mr.
Lord
Stark and all of them,
Stark.
like, you know, Lord Stark. So like obviously they don't want Jon to, because the thing was they were like, oh, Jon wants to go? Oh, cool. Because in their mind they're like, oh, people don't want to go to the, okay, he wants to go to the wall. So they probably didn't want to like, you know, make him not excited for the wall. So obviously nobody really told him the truth. So now
do you think
Tyrion's
anybody
like, well,
actually knows? Like, you know, Benjen Stark knows because he's part of the Night's Watch.
Ned definitely knows. I would be shocked if Ned hadn't like gone to the wall himself.
Huh.
At
That's
some point
an interesting
in his
thought.
life.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just
it's
feel
possible. I don't know actually, to be honest.
Okay. But
he for sure knows that, you know, the Night's Watch is struggling. That did come up at some point, I think. But anyway. Yeah, so nobody told him except Tyrion, so I guess that's that.
That's interesting.
Now Jon knows, and he's got even more reason to be emo.
No, I felt bad for him in this chapter. I was like, oh, Jon, it's okay.
Yeah. It is kind of a sucky position he's in.
Yes.
But yeah, so they, you know, wrap it up and go back to the camp. They eat, drink, and Tyrion goes off to sleep. Everybody goes to sleep. Jon's like, I need to be emo, so I'm gonna take the first watch.
Or maybe he's just trying to do his duties, you know?
Tyrion's last description of Jon is literally, he stared into the flame looking all emo. Well, he didn't use the word emo, but, you know.
No, wasn't he, wait, hold up, let me go to that.
No, his last description of Jon.
Oh, the boy stood near the flame, his face still and hard, looking deep in the, well, you basically, think he's gonna be smiling? You think, no, Nav, you tell me, he's supposed to smile at this point?
He's not, but I'm just saying that, yeah, he's more emo now. He has more reason. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that he doesn't have reason to be. I'm just saying that he is, okay?
All right.
This kid. Yeah. He should have, I don't know. You know, when he was first, like, when he brought it up, the fact that he wanted to go to the wall, it was like, Jon, you have options, but then basically his family mandated it, so now it's like, oh, I guess you just gotta do this.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's true. So sad.
Anyway, so that's it for the chapter. Do you have any predictions? Do you think are they gonna make it to the wall?
Yes.
Okay. And
yes.
How's the wall gonna be? Is it like Tyrion described it? Or, you know, as Jon has kind of come to know, or is it gonna be better? I don't know.
I think it'll probably be worse.
Oh, really?
You know, the wall is declining, so I mean, or no, okay, wait. There's a difference between the wall itself and like okay. So the wall itself is obviously gonna be the same. Yeah, because the wall is the same, but the Night's Watch is gonna be worse than he expected.
In shambles.
Yes.
Okay.
That.
And what's gonna happen when they get there?
They're gonna get there and there's gonna be some sort of I'm just making random predictions here. There's gonna be a dragon attack that happens.
There's no dragons. Where do you come up? In the last Daenerys chapter, you were like, oh yeah, these eggs are, you know, like, Illyrio was totally giving her like some live dragon eggs because like he wouldn't want to keep them for himself.
No, because he wouldn't. What if he doesn't know that they're alive? You know. And they are somehow, like, I don't know, somehow they're just somehow all right. Alive.
And now you're like, oh yeah, a dragon's gonna show up out of nowhere and attack the wall.
Something connecting the two worlds that we've come to know is gonna show up. And that's why I had said
at
dragon.
The wall?
Oh wait, but they're like all over there. Okay. Maybe like a telegram. Because we've been getting a lot of those. No, not telegram, but like, no, like, you know, they don't get telegrams. They send a person, like a person telegram, you know?
Or they send ravens.
Do they?
Yeah.
Okay,
remember,
we're gonna get a raven.
Benjen Stark's got a whole cage full with him in this trip because he's taking them up to the wall.
Oh, right. Okay.
Oh, I guess you never really heard about it. Oh, well, I guess I spoiled you on that. But they do send ravens.
All right. Sounds good.
Yeah.
But yeah, something connecting the two worlds is going to show up.
Well,
or just more information connecting the two worlds is going to show up.
Okay, like last chapter, in Eddard's chapter, we had Daenerys and all of that brought up because of that letter from Varys.
Yeah.
So that was a connection to the two worlds. Why? Okay, so even if there is some kind of raven, why would it be at the wall, which is like at the edge of the realm or whatever?
Because the Night's Watch.
Okay.
Actually, no, you're right. That doesn't even make sense. So maybe I should retract that theory because that doesn't really make sense. So
earlier, I'm just gonna move on. So earlier, you said Tyrion would join the Night's Watch. Do you think that's still gonna happen?
I don't think so.
Why not? But it's such a great honor.
Okay. From the narrative perspective, so we already have Jon and I guess that's still, I was gonna say, we already have Jon at the wall, we need narration like back at the thing, and then I was like, literally all of our other narrators other than Daenerys are in the south. So I think, but I still think, disregarding that, I still think he's gonna like go back to, his house, because he's kind of, he has no reason to stay there, so why would he? He's just kind of making this journey to just, like, pee on the wall.
Pee off of the wall. You say on the wall every time.
Whatever.
They're gonna have to put up those, like, signs, like, do not...
do not pee on the wall. Pee off the wall.
Yeah.
Oh my. I mean, that's probably how they pee, right? Because they're literally at a wall.
I mean, I'm sure they've got latrines or something.
All right.
Okay, I don't want to discuss this. This is not a topic of discussion I'm interested in. Okay, I think that's it for the chapter. I mean,
yeah,
that's pretty much it. Okay, do you want to flip the page and see who's next? I don't remember, actually.
Oh, wait.
Oh, I do, actually.
Catelyn!
Yeah, so, Catelyn is back in Winterfell.
Yeah, last time we saw her, I didn't get the best impressions. So I'm interested to see how she makes it up to me.
Real mean person.
Yes. So we'll see how that goes.
Okay, so she was like, basically living in Bran's room. What is she gonna be doing this time around?
Well, they've been gone for a fortnight, unless, they jump back in time, but they've been gone for at least a fortnight, so she can't, like, she's gotta, it could be, like, she's literally not doing anything, and Rob is just coming in, and he's like, Mom, this happened, I did this, and she's just, like, not saying anything. Like,
okay.
Like, making decisions, doing stuff, because we don't really know. Well, the only thing we really knew about Stark's duties was that one time we saw that, like, execution.
Mm-hmm.
When, like, Bran saw his first execution. That's the only thing we saw. So I guess Jon's just kind of gonna be fulfilling duties.
Rob
the Builder is going to be fulfilling duties, and then it's either that or it's going to be like Catelyn.
Chapter. What is Catelyn doing?
Well, no, I'm not saying it's going to be Rob the Builder off for fulfilling duties. I'm saying, like, we're going to find out about his duties through Catelyn, because he's going to, like, talk to Catelyn, and that's going to be
the chapter?
Yeah.
That's a boring-ass chapter.
Yeah, well, half the chapters in this book have been boring so far. I don't expect anything more.
Okay. Fair enough.
Like, as of right now, I'm not expecting dragons.
Interesting is going to happen at all.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I mean, wait, maybe I should say something just in case something interesting does happen, and I can be like, oh, I said it. Okay, maybe like it won't be like interesting, it'll be like, oh, interesting.
Well, what does that mean? You're saying things today that mean nothing.
Interesting. You're just not understanding them. That's not my fault.
Okay, it's gonna be interesting. What does
by interesting? I mean mildly interesting, but I could close my eyes and fall asleep.
Okay,
interesting is like I'm entertained.
I don't care if it's. I don't care.
I'm thinking.
Okay, so you're stalling is what you're doing.
Okay.
Okay, let's see. Let's take count of who's in Winterfell. So Catelyn's there, Rob's there, Bran's there, Rickon's there.
Maybe Bran, like, maybe Bran's ghost does, or sorry, not ghost, maybe Bran's wolf. He's not dead, Harmat. Maybe his wolf does something interesting, and then we kind of see that, and then we're like, oh my god. Like, maybe the wolf, I don't know. Actually, I don't know. I don't think anything interesting is gonna happen.
Okay, alright. Chapter. I think we made that clear. I am done with this. I don't want to talk to you anymore today.
Alright.
Okay, we're just gonna wrap it up here because I think we've talked long enough about very little.
Dungeons and Dragons.
Okay. Anyway, some of us are very distracted today, in case you haven't noticed. So we're gonna wrap it up. As always, you can find us on our various social media. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram at Pop Culture Symposium, on Twitter at Pop Symposium, and our email is popculturesymposium@gmail.com. Our website /blog is popculturesymposium.tumblr.com. All of those links are in the show notes below, so check them out. Let us know what you think. Tell us how we can rein it in during these random tangents. And yeah, I think that's everything. Until next time, farewell, my friends.
Talk to you later.